Just as I started this stream, I got, like, fucking weird responses on Twitter, so I was like, oh, let me go check those out. And it's related to a thing from the other week. Fucking always gotta love when just responses in your notifications come out of left field. And you didn't expect to see those responses from your notifications, and then suddenly one of them is she had a lot of fucking boyfriends. Then she had one on Twitter from Washington, but when she filled me in, I told him she's still fucking married. I have receipts. This was March of 2023. Thank you. That's in my mentions now. I think that's fucking hilarious. Hey, Valor. Is one of those things. Alright. Gotta love how everything is a soap opera these days. It's like, yeah. So, okay. I'll talk about this briefly in the stream, because I guess it's worth mentioning. But, here. I will... Also, hello, Earth Nerd. I will, It was disorienting at first. I had to explain why it looked like I was fucking lost in the sauce. Live weekly discussion stream. And, yeah, streaming at this point. So, okay. I'm gonna share this in my server, and I guess I'll explain that situation, because I think it's like at least a teachable moment. And you're already familiar, I think, maybe with this situation, but if not, then this will take you for a wild fucking ride. There we go. Share this. And everyone. Ping. Okay, so the background. And I don't know that what was just said was true, but I mean, I know she was married, I think. So, alright. This chick, High Lady Brittany, said Heather Witz McGee nuked her account. She told me she was going away for a year, lied about what happened, and then I got the real story. This is Witz McGee, not Tots, in case anybody needs that clarification. But what this woman posted says, and then I got the real story. She's actually in federal prison now. Considering she was so popular, I think you all deserve to know. I don't know that she was popular, but apparently she was, like, with a certain crowd. A certain crowd who may be a little bit too comfortable with cops, feds, and government contractors. Because, former Bureau of Prisons prison guard sentenced to 18 months for accepting a bribe. Heather Alyssa Neff in Tucson, Arizona, of Lee's Summit, Missouri, was sentenced last week by United States District Judge Scott H. Rash. Gotta love, if your name is Judge Rash, I'm sorry. That sounds like a cartoon character designed to propagandize against STDs. But, to 18 months in prison and 36 months of supervised release, Neff pleaded guilty to accepting a bribe by a public official on August 31st, 2023. From 2016 through June 2019, Neff worked as a corrections officer in the Bureau of Prisons facility at FCI Safford, where she regularly interacted with inmates. In early 2019, Neff entered into an inappropriate sexual relationship with an inmate incarcerated at FCI Safford. Neff received cash in exchange for a stream of benefits to the inmate, including sexual contact with the inmate in introducing contraband into the prison, which included nutritional supplements, loose tobacco, hygiene items, and rum, and assisting the inmate in circumventing a security feature of the prison by taking mail from the inmate out of the prison and inserting it into the U.S. mail on his behalf. I like how it says inserting it into the U.S. mail. Like, that's the choice of wording. Yes, she definitely had something inserted from a mail. Neff also accessed the BOP Sentry system on behalf of the inmate and provided him with non-public information regarding other inmates. As part of this plea, Neff acknowledged that one of the inmates she provided information about was later assaulted. So, she basically fucked somebody, helped that guy get things into the prison, helped that guy mail things out of the prison, and also helped that guy get somebody assaulted. And she did all of this in her capacity as a Bureau of Prisons fucking guard. And she did all this while she had a cop boyfriend. Apparently, she was cheating on that cop with an inmate. Fun. Hey, this is fun stuff, isn't it? And so I said, how many of her followers knew she was a cop? And Brittany said she hadn't been since she started her Twitter, but she's been seeing a guy who was a police officer, and all of her followers are generally more or less back the blue people. I said, interesting. Yeah, I didn't interact, but I see a lot of liberty-adjacent folks here. Maybe it might be a teachable moment for some of these folks. Not the first time someone turned out to be a state agent or working with the feds, and unfortunately won't be the last. Somebody, I'll say NCR anarchist, I guess, because he posted publicly, so I guess he doesn't mind people knowing. I'm not a back the blue person, and I was connected to her not only through this account, but also my previous, definitely followed within Liberty circles. And I said, I know a lot of folks who excuse Fed behavior in the ranks of Liberty. Active duty soldiers, cops and cop friends and relatives, government contractors, and more often gain traction for being someone on the inside who gets it. Then more people somehow end up on lists. He says, only actions from that statement I don't care about are the nutritional supplements, smoke, and booze smuggling. To me, that doesn't matter and I don't care about. The rest is obviously pretty bad. Yeah, basically. And so what this new person is saying, who just showed up in my mentions, is that thing that I started out with. And also, she fucked an inmate while still married. She was on Safford and she moved to Missouri for a job. She didn't quit like she told me. She got fired. I'm so fucking disgusted. Jesus, knowing her since 2004, she was there when my mom died, and now this. What the fuck? See, this is the thing. Y'all gotta fucking get rid of the feds. Y'all gotta stop being infiltrated. And stop being so easily fucking swayed by somebody just because they, like, happen to fucking push your narrative. I'll eat a taco to that. Earth told y'all women be trying to get them prisoners. Yeah, right? Only this one literally worked for the prison. Tacos. But yeah, this is just one of many examples, of why people need to be more careful and say less in public, or in one of these GCs, because it's sort of like the Ashley case. The Dread Pirate Ashalute, who is now in prison on what seems like a closed case. I'll have to, check the actual trial information and see what I can find out. But it looks like she's possibly in prison on a closed case for fucking child sexual abuse material, and lied about the circumstances surrounding that, claiming that she was just pulled over for a speeding ticket. And that, no, everything's fine. And then months later, after her devices were seized and probably her chats were searched by a bunch of feds, later on, after a bunch of things were found out and a bunch of people were probably, like, put under scrutiny, later on, she was suddenly in jail for potential child sexual abuse material, and so was her wife. So it's like, man, oh man, do I not regret involving, like, so few people in very serious discussion rooms, and do I not regret having the policies I do about, like, being circumspect about what one says in public off encrypted lines. Because, yeah, like, so many of these things are coming out, and I already know for a fact that there are a significant amount of, like, literal government agents and contractors and shit in these circles. And the more of these people, like, get away with that in these circles, the more at-risk shit is. To put it in a way. Valor says, also Great Lent is tomorrow. Well, I do not practice, but I wish you well on that. When they said gotta go fast, I didn't know they meant starving yourself. This is way past uncool. I had to. It was right there. Yeah, I had a relatively productive week. Finally nailed down one of the graphics jobs that's on my back burner, and finished that. Got the final payout. I'll be hammering out the rest of it for the interceding week, because there's way too much that I've had on the back burner in that regard. And I'll also be putting out hella content. And this week, I had multiple very successful streams and some less successful because they weren't properly recorded. But I'll make sure to have everything I do properly recorded, and not rely on other people's spaces and shit like that in order to make sure that people get the message I'm sending. But if there's anything y'all want to talk about, feel free. So, after this, and after I go for a workout, I'll be coming back in and doing a stream about the LP convention on the Essential Libertarians channel. So, keep an eye out for that. This will not be the only stream today. And I'll also put on the finishing touches on an article tomorrow that will go against Millet and prove that any libertarian who's still supporting him, or who even supported him to begin with, is deluded. And lots more content coming, because this recent borders shit has caused a significant amount of problems. Valor says, I've stopped talking to 2 good friends this year because they defended their racist boyfriend, and that homeless dude sent me an animation of his character pole dancing. No loss. Really. Like, if you have better people to talk to, and I know that for a fact, so. If they're not willing to respect your boundaries, then it's good that you're setting them and making that firm. Definitely don't let people tread on you like that. Valor says he sent it to other minors too. That's not suspect at fucking all. I'm not big on police calling, but there might be one in that guy's future. Fucking insane. Also, I'm not sure what these oranges are. But I thought they might be like just very large kumquats, and I got them very cheap. So I decided to start eating them like kumquats, and like they don't taste anything like kumquats. So I'm assuming that I just started eating these fucking oranges as oranges, and I'm gonna keep doing that because I might as well. I paid for the peel as well. Yeah, well, it doesn't need to be graphic for it to be something problematic when an adult is sending pole dancing content to minors. That's fucking strange, just to be clear. You aren't wrong in saying that it's like something that you want to distance from. And if I recall correctly, he's the same guy who threw things at you. So, don't. Yeah, stay away from him. That guy already exhibited suspect behavior. This is just the latest nail in the coffin. But yeah, what else? Oh yeah, so I've been doing a lot of streams on a lot of other people's channels, and one of the things coming up on the 28th, so that'll be next Thursday, not this Thursday, is I'll be going on the Biblical Anarchy podcast, and it'll be interesting because, you know, like, I have a whole lot of views on this, having been raised a preacher, and I think a whole lot of people don't read the Bible before saying they believe in it or before preaching it. And so it'll be interesting to go on there. Jacob is a good dude. Jacob Winograd. And, like, one of the things that we've been coming to the conclusion of is that we agree a lot more than the people who talk about me behind my back want people like him to think we do. And so it should be a good one. I think this will be a good one for unity purposes. And I'm all about unity. You know me. Well, if you want to read the Bible more, I've got a list of verses that confirm anarchy is the only option. Let me send you that list of verses. This will be something that you can read the Bible more with. And you can also send this list of verses around to your other Christian friends so that they can read it. I'll post this in comments in my server. Because I'm all about reading the Bible. I'm just not about using the Bible to justify tyranny. So, people should read the Bible, people should read the Quran, people should read all these holy texts so that they can realize that a lot of the stuff in there is not designed to reify authority. Yeah, good. Valor says, I've also been using Twitter less and I feel a lot better mentally. Twitter is a disease. I'm only on Twitter because I've been on there 15 years. I still have an audience. And I can talk directly to people and find directly out what they've been saying. It's a way for me to scrape and attack information. And that's basically it. So, also, on that score, Twitter doxed people. Because Elon Musk enabled an audio and video calling thing, and by default, the audio and video calling thing has a feature turned on where they can see your IP address if they call you. So basically, a bunch of people bought into this, immediately started using it, and immediately started to have their IP address and information and shit revealed. And I thought that was fucking hilarious, but also extremely evil. And I think that it's just like one of many things to come in terms of like knowing too much about you and being too connected to your private data, information, that sort of thing. So I immediately turned on my VPN on my phone, and it has not been off since. In case that or any other feature on Twitter is used by Elon to basically dox everybody all at once. Because it is absurd. So I would recommend people get a VPN if you're going to have the Twitter app on your phone. Because clearly he's going to start doing spyware shit. And it's going to expose vulnerabilities of the common person to the other common person. So if you don't want to get doxxed by that guy on Twitter who hates you, have a VPN. At all times, just use your VPN. VPN. Now, VPN forever. You can get like a free VPN from Proton VPN too. Like, or Windscribe or something. Like, you don't have to pay money. You can just go get a VPN. Get a VPN. Valor says it's gotten worse ever since Elon. It's been bad, but it's never been this bad. Is bro trying to set this shit on fire? I think he just doesn't care if it burns. Because he already hated Twitter. He was not a Twitter fan. He was not a Twitter fan. He was never a Twitter fan. He never liked Twitter. What he wanted was to combat the people on Twitter who he fucking accused of wokeifying his, I think, daughter. And he said that because she didn't like him anymore, it was because of the woke mind virus, and that he wanted Twitter so that he could fuck with the place's like social justice vibes. And it worked. Now the place is a bigoted cesspit where every other thing is infested with people who like have exactly zero people's good interests at heart, and it's controlled by AI and the World Economic Forum, and it's almost like this guy who wants to copy WeChat isn't a seriously good actor. You know? It's almost like WeChat is a bad fucking thing and shouldn't be copied. So, little things like that. Also, something that's weird, the housemate's cat has just been spending so much fucking time in here. He just comes in here and sleeps a significant amount of time. And I'll just like, you know, fine. You know, I think it's because this is the most peaceful room in the house. Because so often the rest of the house is like overborne by fucking noise and arguments and fucking clacking pool balls or video games or whatever, and I'm over here and yeah, sure, I've got loudness, but it's blaring through earphones. Yeah, I mean, that's also true. I'm just like, I feel like it's more than that. He can't hate his actual owner. I don't feel like that's the thing. 7 housemates right now, to answer your question. We've got one old dude, one sort of reclusive gamer who spends a lot of time in his room, one gamer who installed a TV and his PlayStation and Xbox in the living room, so now he plays there. One like middle-aged dude going through a midlife crisis, and his mom who's old and going through an old life crisis. Um, and and one like somewhat younger, uh, I don't even know. He's some kind of Christian who spends a lot of time to himself or making kombucha, things like that. And then we have me, who's just up here being schizo, but like keeping to myself mostly in my room. Yeah, the guy and his mom, they argue all the fucking time. Like they were arguing today, they were arguing yesterday, and I could just go on back throughout the time that like there's very few days when they aren't. And it's always over the same fucking shit. I can't tell you how many times I've been able to clearly and audibly hear them arguing under me. Um, it's like at some point you just have to give up the ghost and realize that conversation isn't going to happen. And maybe move out because it's a toxic fucking relationship. One of them should move out. Um, but that's not happening. So. Oh, what do you mean? Like what? Like what are the arguments about? I'm not gonna get too much into it because I don't think that's my business. Like, I mean, they make it my business by being loud, but I'm not gonna make it the internet's business. Suffice it to say, a bunch of deep-seated issues that need actual resolution. Um, and like I could give that resolution if I gave more of a fuck, but I honestly don't. So, like, I don't really like this woman, and I think she's doing everything she can to prove me right. Um, and so I'm just gonna let it happen. Especially since this is the same woman who threw my food the other month because I had the audacity to use the microwave when she wanted to and didn't tell me. And instead of being an adult and not throwing a stupid little tantrum, she threw my food. And she also caterwauls, and calls that singing like a lot. She has like this roster of 12 songs that she will sing routinely and poorly. She is not a good singer. Um, and I just like I hear it crystal clear. Like, and I know these songs even though I don't want to. Like some of these songs anyway. Like some of these songs are just good classic hits that are not good when she sings them, and then the other ones are like I think Estonian and Ukrainian anthems and shit. So obviously, she doesn't like it when I'm talking about the Ukraine thing, and can probably hear it from where she is at some points. And sometimes, like, I'll very intentionally listen to Russian music just because it would piss her off for me to do that. So, um, like, everyone of my family is way more amenable to actual serious conversations than that. I can't imagine that being my mother. Holy shit. Um, and then the other day, I come in while my food is like sitting there on the counter, and some of it has been freshly cooked, and I catch her stealing a bite of it. And whatever, it's like a tablespoon of food. But I did confront her, and I said, I'm gonna need you to not do that again. And she said, well, I just can't help myself. It looks so good. And I'm like, well, then maybe you can pay me in the future and I can just make you some. It's funny that the same person who threw my food and was so disrespectful about it is so willing to, like, actively take what isn't theirs because it's that good. I mean, whatever, though. A testament. Um, You can send me Russian Orthodox chants, but I probably won't blast them too much. I've used some of those historically though. Sometimes when I need a specific vibe while I need to focus on something, I'll turn on some chants. Hmm. 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 My camera fuzzes out when I move. Um, but yeah, like it's gonna be good in the middle of this year to move the fuck out of here. It's been a long time coming. Um, I've needed to get the fuck out of this house. And like I've been here for 4 years. And that is 4 years too much. Um, this was supposed to be a brief stepping stone to the next place, and it was not that. So, the next place has to be better. And the next place will be if I can get Anarchy House together. So, with that being said, because I will be streaming shortly, I'll be calling this one relatively early. But it'll be at the normal time, coming up. Because the reason it hasn't been is I had a bunch of shit I needed to take care of. Not the least of which was, yesterday I was out of melatonin, and I have fucking severe psychological issues that make it extremely hard for me to get to sleep without it, especially in this shared house where a lot of things are like patunking around, and especially the fact that this house is like within audible range of like 4 good train tracks. That's fun when you're going off and exploring a train track or using the bottom of one for parkour or a variety of other things, but it's less good when you're trying to get some fucking sleep and that thing goes blah. So melatonin helps, and I got some of that, and I also did grocery shopping, and I did a bunch of other shit. But now the plan is I'll be going out there, getting in a quick workout, and then doing the stream. So with that being said, yeah, be well all. Smash the fucking state.